You know, this trans bullshit needs to stop. It really does. The New York Times has been under fire the last couple of days because it had some stories about confused kids who think they're the opposite sex, thanks to social media and porn and just never-ending propaganda that says that somehow if you don't fit in with sex role stereotypes, that must mean that you're the opposite sex. Or if you're gay or lesbian, you must be the opposite sex, which makes no sense because these nitwits that believe this trans crap think that there's no such thing as sex, biological sex. They think there's no such thing. So how is that even consistent? How can you identify as something that doesn't exist? But of course, the thing that doesn't exist is transgenderism. There's no such thing. There are cross-dressers and there are transvestites. And the transvestites are the loudest, most vile, most misogynist, most disgusting human beings. That's what they are. Okay? They're no more viable as a minority than people that parade around in blackface can call themselves a legitimate protected class. They're not a legitimate protected class. They've never been. Because you can always change the clothes and the makeup and blah, 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 blah. So it was hilarious that these nitwits, and there was something like 200 letter writers, including some staff members of the New York Times, and any of those staff members and others that wrote that letter, they should be fired. They should absolutely be fired because it's unethical. It's totally unethical to play activist when you're an alleged journalist. You're not supposed to do it. So anyway, they're real touchy because some recent articles question the medical quackery being put upon kids. It's all medical quackery. It's all quackery. It's not real therapy. It's not real treatment. It's quackery. Of the most vicious, most dangerous sort. It's horrible. It shouldn't even be legal to even have it. I mean, I take a hard line on this issue. I always have. For at least 50 years. I've taken a hard line on it. I don't think this goddamn shit should even be allowed. For anybody. The quack surgeries, the quack hormones, all that stuff. Because it's impossible to change sex. What you need is therapy to deal with your dissatisfaction of whatever it is that lies at the root of this delusion that you're the opposite sex. And then what really got him upset was the article by Pamela Paul, or opinion piece about J.K. Rowling or Rowling, and that set him over the edge. But of course, J.K. Rowling or Rowling, JKR, she is really too nice to the TRAs. She's gone out of her way to be nice. I'm not nice. I call them what they are. But she tries to be nice. She tries to be compassionate. But that's not enough. If you don't toe the cult line, then you're a heretic. And you must be banished. If they had it their way, if these weirdos had it their way, they'd kill anybody that disagreed and acknowledge physical reality and scientific reality. So anyway, Pamela Paul tried to correct the record about J.K. Rowling. And guess what? The transgender bunch, let's call them the gender identity bunch, it's too much for them. And as this, of course, this is right-wing, this David Marcus, and I doubt he's from the United States because this is from the Daily Mail. But what they're really upset about what they really want to do is shut them up. That's what women have had to put up with. If you dared to acknowledge that what women really are and what men really are. And it isn't fluid. There's no fluidity about anything. And sex roles are nothing but a bunch of bullshit. Always were. But of course, the right wing, they might seem sympathetic to feminists and stuff, but they support the same bullshit as the GI crowd. They think these sex role stereotypes mean something. They're bullshit. Okay? They're a prison. And they need to be totally rejected. So anyway, I thought this was hilarious. And yes, when they had all this protest, the editor said, go pound sand, basically. Told him to shut, basically told him, if you don't like it, lump it. And it's about time, but who knows how long. The New York Times editors are going to stand their ground against these weirdos and these loudmouths. But I hope we see more of this. I hope we see this whole thing fall down like a house of cards, which it really is inevitable that it's gonna happen. So anyway, my battery's going low, but I thought, hey, this is a good thing to warm my heart for this weekend. And I'm finally recovered from that horrible norovirus and got 3 days off. So anyway, that is all.